I'm Pastor Sam Phipps, one of the pastors here at Lee Park Church, and we are starting a new podcast that we call Respond. It is our opportunity, it is our chance to bring to you experts, pastors, and those in different fields that can help us with information as we respond to the changes in our world. Without a doubt, there are more disruptions, I think, in the history of the world, if not in just my lifetime, and everything that we are doing. And so we want to help us get through this. We cannot provide any certainty on anything, but we can help clarify situations. We can provide information to you. And then after that, we're going to present a biblical view on the way the church should respond to these situations. So as we go forward, we'll have different guests. And today we have with us Jarrod McCraw. Jarrod is the Assistant Superintendent for Student Support of Union County School Systems. He's also a Lee Park member and a fellow believer. Welcome, Jarrod.
Yeah, thank you, Sam, for having me. Sir.
Sure, it's great to have you with us. You know, you and I have talked a lot about different things, but over the summer we've talked about what school reopening for the fall would look like, and it seemed to be constantly changing, and I think it has again, hopefully for the last time for a few weeks at least. So, first of all, how does the school system collect their information? Where do they gather this? Who do you look for to give you wisdom in what to do?
We gather information from lots of different places. With the COVID-19 pandemic, we've gathered lots of information from the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. They provided a document specifically for the school system. It's called Lighting the Way Forward. That document has lots of information in it. We also work closely with our local health department. Mr. Dennis Joyner is our local health director. We meet with him weekly, sometimes many times a week, and we work together with him and his team. We also have a team of nurses that work for Union County Schools. We have 2 nurse supervisors. We have 53 nurses, 1 nurse in every school.
Really?
We do, and what an excellent job they've done. We also work with, of course, the superintendent. He oversees the entire school system and leads us. We have a cabinet team, principals, administrators, our teachers, custodians, bus drivers, all those people working together are going to make this happen. But the information gathering, we're really dependent on our health experts to give us the best information.
Well, with all of those sources for gathering information, do you ever feel like there's too much information?
Yeah, I think what we've seen with this is there's so much uncertainty with COVID. We receive information, then it will change. What we have to do is we have to be fluid in our decision making. We have to be ready for change. So far, the last couple of weeks, it's been really consistent. We're following that Lighting the Way Forward document. Health and safety is going to be the number one concern as we come back to school. Instruction's always at the forefront, but we've got to make sure we focus on the health and safety of our staff. We got to make sure we focus on the health and safety of our teachers and our students. It's going to be much different as we come back to school for all of the people. You're going to see, with that focus on health and safety, much more stringent and strict guidelines.
All the school systems in the area are huge, but Union County covers a large landmass. And so sometimes we think, well, I'm in Unionville and it's going to be this, but we forget that it's Weddington and Waxhaw and beyond. And so there's so much that you have to consider that's just more than Monroe.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Pastor Sam. We're the 6th largest school system in the state.
Wow.
We have around 5,300 employees. We have 42,000 students approximately. We cover from Marshville to Marvin, from Unionville to Rough Edge and Monroe. We cover all those areas, and we're serving all those students, and there are a lot of different needs, but we always say we're a school system, we're not a system of schools. So when we make decisions, we're making decisions for 53 schools, all of our team members, all of our staff members, and all of our students too.
So what are the goals right now? What are the goals of the school system, Union County school system?
So our goal, first of all, would be to return to school. We're going to come 1 day a week now for most students. When we return, we want to make sure people are healthy and safe. The second thing will be to provide for the instructional needs of our students. Then we'll also have to focus on the social, emotional, and mental health well-being. I think we all know that, starting in March up to now, this has been a challenging time for us all, both, from parents to students to our employees. We're going to have to focus on making sure that we take care of people's emotional needs. And I always like to tie it in with the church here too, because my faith tells me that I have to trust and I have to have faith. And I think during this difficult time, my God has carried me through this.
Wow, great testimony.
Yeah, it is. And I am blessed. I always tell people when I work with them, God puts us in positions where we need to be. And 14 years ago when I took the position I'm in, I never imagined we would be in the COVID pandemic situation we're in now.
What do you folks think the first week of school will feel like?
So we've discussed it a lot, and it's going to look different, of course. As people come into school, you're going to see that focus on health and safety is going to be the first thing. If your child rides a bus, there's going to be that focus on health and safety. You're going to see face coverings in schools for most every student and every staff member. We're going to be doing temperature checks when you come in the building. We'll be asking questions to make sure people are not sick, make sure they're feeling well before they come in the building. I think one thing for parents that they're going to see is we're not going to allow as many visitors in our school. I'm a parent and I have young children. They're out of elementary school now, but elementary parents really enjoy coming into the school, volunteering. And as a school system, we were blessed to have many good volunteers, Pastor Sam. But during the COVID pandemic, the requirements for us will be we limit visitors into our school. And it's not that we don't love people and want people in our building, but we also have to follow those health and safety guidelines. So that first week, what you're going to see is us getting used to different protocols and guidelines. We're not perfect by any means, but we're going to do our best. And what we need from the church is we need prayer. We need your support. We need to make sure that we have positive people out there praying for us. And it's going to be a challenging time even when we start back because it's just all new to us.
I would expect with all those temperature checks and everything that will take longer to get into the building too.
It will. Getting used to a new protocol and guideline initially, Pastor Sam, it's going to take some time, but as we get further into it, we'll get faster at it. But we've told already the principals, we can't get complacent though, because as you go further into the COVID pandemic and as things appear to be getting better, you can't get complacent and let your guard down. We have to make sure we focus on health and safety this entire school year. I do believe we've probably changed as a society. We're going to be more focused on health and safety. One thing I didn't mention is you'll see a lot of social distancing too, and that's difficult for us as people. You'll see a lot more of the 6-foot social distancing. In the classroom, there'll be less capacity because we're required to have 6-foot social distancing between people. Things are going to work out. I have faith they are, and I ask for the church to pray for us as we go into this.
Well, we are, and I want to encourage those who are watching today and others also share this with, make sure you share this in some way. You can send out the link to share it with folks, but people need to hear that it's important that the church be what the church is, but pray for our teachers. Man, they're going back into an environment that they're not sure about. And so we got to make sure that we're covering them in prayer. Pray for the students, pray for the leaders who are there. So my next question, I have 2 questions, and these are probably the most obvious that I think probably a lot of people are thinking. The what if. So what if we go to school and someone gets the virus? What's the plan?
If somebody were to be COVID positive, we have our nurses that would deal with those cases. We have certain rooms where those students would go and they would stay until their parents can pick them up. If it's a staff member, they would go home. There's certain criteria that has to be met before you can come back. We have a great custodial team. They'll come in and clean. They'll make sure the school's sanitized and cleaned. There is potential too that we always work with our local health department when it comes to COVID cases. We follow their guidance. But I think the main thing is there may be a need to close a classroom. There may be a need to close a school. But when that time comes, we have to be prepared for that. Parents and the general public have to be prepared. If it comes a time when there's a need to close a classroom or a school, there is potential for that. Be ready for that.
So what if we go back to school and the virus is not there?
So Pastor Sam, that's our hopes, is that when we go back to school, we follow all the guidelines that have been set up. We wear face coverings, we socially distance, we wash hands, sanitize hands, we clean our schools. Our hopes and prayers are that nobody gets the virus, that we're able to come back to school for more days, and then ultimately we come back to school 5 days a week. All of our students, all of our staff members are healthy and safe, and we take care of the needs of our children and our staff members, and that's what our hopes are.
Well, I can assure you that's a lot of hope from the parents too, because I guess we're just ready for us all to get back to normal, and whatever that normal might be, but we're ready for, I know we all are, we're all ready for something. So one other question. We're getting close to school starting back. When is the start date of the school system?
So Union County schools, most schools start August 17th. All of our students and all of our staff members will come back August 17th. Of course, before that date, we've got a lot of preparation still. Our teachers, our principals, our administrators, and custodians and bus drivers, all of those people are working hard to make sure we're ready to open for our students.
Great. So what do you think the first week will be like?
So, the first week's going to look different. We've got to make sure that we follow the protocols and guidelines that have been set up for us. You're going to see social distancing in hallways and classrooms, our staff members. That's going to be hard to get used to because, as people, we want to be close to each other, and it's going to be different. But ultimately, our goal is to make it healthy and safe, to focus on instruction. We're going to focus on those students and staff members, their social and emotional and mental health too, because as you know, it's been a difficult time for us all. That would be our staff, that would be our parents, and of course our students.
Keep this in mind also, going back to school, the parents should be prepared for, at the beginning, longer lines, a longer time to get into the school, because you've got checks you've got to do.
Yeah, I think when you start any new process, any new protocols or guidelines, it takes more time initially. As we do it more, we'll get better at it, but it's going to take some time.
Well, I guess the 3 P's to take away from this would be prayer,
yes, sir,
patience, and flexibility.
Yeah.
Well, okay, flexibility is not a P, but we have learned probably the most disliked word this year, or 2 words, is be flexible. You said fluid. I like that. I think that's a better word to use. I'm going to start using that one a lot more. If you don't mind that I take it from you.
You can take whatever word you want.
What else do you need from the church? What else can we as a church do?
I think what the church can do, they can pray for us. I think we need their prayerful support. I think as the church, if they see needs of children, step up, and they can always contact me. They can contact the principal at the school or even the teacher, and we're going to look to support our students.
Well, Jarrod, do you have anything else to add at all?
No, I just appreciate the time
Sure.
That the church takes to support me, to support my family, and to support the school system in Union County. What a great place to live. What a great place to raise a family.
It is, and we have a lot of teachers at Lee Park Church, a tremendous amount of teachers, and it's good to know who they are so that we can be praying for them and encouraging them and supporting them. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I know it's just virtual meetings all day long, and this is really a break for you. So thank you for doing that, though, and being with us today on Respond.
Thank you.
So as we close today's podcast, we want to remember that the church responds in a different way to every situation. I want to leave this verse with you as we go out of this podcast today. And it's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. I think this speaks so much wisdom into our lives, especially if we live it out. And it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. And in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. I want to focus on just the beginning of that. Trust in the Lord. So as schools start to open back up, as the buses start rolling again, as the teachers go back, we have to, as the church, as believers, trust the Lord. Remember to pray for our teachers, pray for the leaders in our school system, as you are also praying for the leaders in our country. The church is here. The church can be strong. We can stand firm on Jesus Christ.